I want to mention what's probably my favourite fatwa of them all, which I found on a site called Islam QA, and it involved the etiquette of social networking. Now, as anyone with access to the internet knows, the dilemmas of online interaction can be an ethical minefield. And if there's one thing that you can be sure about with ethical minefields, it's that somewhere in the world there'll be a Muslim scholar striding through it. And a couple of years ago, a perplexed Muslim contacted Islam QA to ask whether it was acceptable or unduly frivolous and unholy to spend time updating his Facebook account. And this is what they said. The site's cyber muftis ruminated over several ancient hadiths before concluding that it would be a positive sin to do anything else. According to their considered and final opinion, it is not permissible for a person to write about himself that he is outside or in school, for example, when in fact he is at home, because this is lying. If he forgets to change his status by typing or writing, he should change it whenever he can, and God knows best. Now, you probably guessed this, but I might be disappointing some of you if I say to you that my own insights into God's will aren't anything as confident as that. If I'm to be honest, I actually like to keep my friends guessing about my whereabouts and my mood on Facebook. But the attention that's paid to the question on Islam QA is another illustration of the breadth of Islamic law. And when Muslims talk about following that law, or when they talk about following the shari'a, it shouldn't be assumed that they're collectively planning misogyny and atrocious violence, still less that they're plotting against the American dream. The overwhelming majority are simply trying to do the right thing by their religion. That might involve a seriousness of purpose that seems a little disproportionate to the subject in question, as was the case perhaps with that Facebook fatwa. It might involve dietary or dress codes that seem strange, or rituals of marriage or prayer or mourning that differ from the norm, but it's not a good reason for fear. That might seem obvious, and the people who express most criticism of Sharia law would certainly argue that it was irrelevant. They'd say that their concern was with Islamic extremism, not with the customs observed by law-abiding Muslims. But the effort to counter extremism is actually harmed immeasurably by campaigns which vilify the Sharia as terroristic or treasonous, because the effect is to portray Islam as a faith that's inextricably linked to its most radical interpreters. And that has great practical consequences. There really are malign interpretations of Islamic law out there. It really is important to recognize that, because they affect countless people, including millions of Muslims themselves. But indiscriminate attacks on a legal tradition that concerns itself with matters from foreplay to Facebook do nothing to promote the anti-extremist cause, and they do much to alienate and discriminate against Muslims.